Jackie Robinson played here. On a baseball diamond, 42 did it all. His lifetime was filled with many firsts, but his lasting mark will always be his character and courage. Tonight at historic Wrigley Field, we honor Jackie Robinson, a true American hero. Well, the number 42 flag flies high atop Wrigley Field as we honor a true American hero, the late Jackie Robinson. All players and coaches in uniform will wear 42 tonight as the Rangers and Cubs do battle in interleague action. Hi again, everyone. Along with Jim Deshaies, I'm Len Casper. It's an interesting matchup of shortstops, young shortstops who just got long contracts. Starlin Castro for the Cubs, Elvis Andrus for the Rangers.
Yeah, only 11 times in Major League history have shortstops made multiple All-Star teams before the age of 24, and you're going to see two of them on display in this interleague series. Castro and Andrus, two guys who can do it all, play with the leather and the stick. Castro off to a great start. 8 consecutive games he's hit safely in, including 5 multi-hit games. Elvis Andrus not off to that good start offensively, but he brings a lot to the table. Speed, defense, swings the bat pretty well. Doesn't have the power that Castro does, but he too a good solid two-way player. Two of the best young shortstops in all of baseball here, Rangers and the Cubs.
And we'll talk more about it as the night moves along, but the Rangers have a kid named Jurickson Profar, a shortstop in the minors, and we know about Javier Baez for the Cubs, so a lot of depth at that position. Well, coming up, it'll be a battle of left-handers on the mound. Derek Holland for the Rangers. Travis Wood will go for the Cubs to kick off this 3-game set. The Cubs hosting the Rangers coming up next.
Part by your Chicago area and Northwest Indiana Lexus dealer, who invites you to test drive a Lexus today. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois. Through it all. BMO Harris Bank, helping money make sense. BMO Harris Bank, NA member FDIC. AT&T Uverse. Visit att.com/freeyourtv. Rethink possible. Ford. Check out America's freshest lineup at your local Ford store or at localfordstores.com. And by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com.
Welcome back. Wrigley Field, we're set for baseball tonight as the Rangers and Cubs kick off a 3-game interleague series. And before the game tonight, the Cubs honoring Second Lieutenant James Brock, 25 years in the Illinois Army National Guard. And as a Master Sergeant in 2008, was deployed to Afghanistan with the 33rd Infantry Brigade Combat Team. Earned a meritorious service medal for his participation in Operation Enduring Freedom. Great to have him here tonight. And you see the flag at half-staff in honor of those victims of the bombings at the Boston Marathon yesterday. A moment of silence before the national anthem tonight. And as we get set for game one of this series, the Cubs made a plethora of roster moves. We need 2 pages actually on our screen to tell you all of them. Darwin Barney back from the disabled list. He will make his season debut tonight and had 4 hits yesterday for Iowa. Cameron Lowe and Kevin Gregg, JD, a couple of right-handers who will join the Cubs bullpen. And yet another move, and we're not sure if we'll see Cody Ransom tonight, but he is on his way to Chicago, acquired on waivers from the Padres. A rough start for Brent Lillibridge, who was designated today.
Yeah, rough start for Lillibridge, a rough start for some of the guys in the Cub bullpen. And if you're playing winning baseball early on, some of those guys who are struggling aren't quite as vulnerable. But when you start the year 4-8, and you've got some guys who are underperforming, general managers are always going to be scouring the waiver wire to see who's available, and if they think they can make the least little bit of an upgrade, they're going to go for it. So the Cubs add a couple of veteran relievers to that bullpen, guys with very good track records in the past, and Cody Ransom, a guy who can play all over the field, play all the infield positions, can also play the outfield, and he's a veteran. He's been around a long time. He brings a little pop to the table as a hitter. So it's just the situation. You're not winning games. You got to shake it up a little bit.
Well, yesterday, the 66th anniversary of Jackie Robinson's Major League debut, broke the color barrier with the Brooklyn Dodgers in time for our Firestone Complete Auto Care Extra Mile Index. Rookie of the Year that year in 1947, League MVP 2 years later. And you see at the bottom, played a lot of games here at Wrigley Field. His final home run at Wrigley, June 6, 1954, off Paul Minner. That is our Firestone Complete Auto Care Extra Mile Index. Appropriate, the Texas Rangers Southwest starting lineup written out by manager Ron Washington. Ian Kinsler leads it off at second. We mentioned Andrews in the open. He'll play short and bat second. Adrian Beltre is at third. Nelson Cruz cleans up. A.J. Przinsky, a Cub killer as a member of the White Sox, now with the Rangers. Former Cub Jeff Baker is in left. Mitch Moreland's at first. Craig Gentry in center. And Derek Holland, the pitcher, will bat ninth.
Derek Holland's a lefty, so you'll note the right-handed bats in the lineup for the Cubs today. And that means Dave Chappelle gets a start in center. Scott Hairston in right. Joins Soriano out there in the outfield. Gonzalez is at third with Castro at short. Welcome back, Darwin Barney. Anthony Rizzo over at first. Wellington Castillo does the catching for our Lexus pursuing perfection starting pitcher. And Travis Wood, although he hasn't been perfect, he's been really good through 2 starts. He's 1-0 with a 1.46 ERA. He will be making his first ever start against the Texas Rangers.
And the umpires, the crew chief is Dale Scott. Bill Miller's at first. C.B. Buckner at second. Todd Titchener over at third. Both teams were off yesterday.
It's a cold night here at the ballpark. A lot of rain in the forecast. Important to get this one in.
We're supposed to get a lot of rain the next 2 days. Got a lot of rain yesterday on the off day. Rangers come in at 8-5. They and the Atlanta Braves, the only 2 teams who have not lost 2 games in a row. Rangers did drop their last decision 4-3 in Seattle on Sunday. So it's 42 against 42. Wood to Kinsler, low for ball 1, and we're underway.
The Rangers so far really have not been that good offensively, and that's been the hallmark of this team in recent years. A lot of firepower in the lineup, but it's been the pitching leading the way so far.
That's going to get down and right. Ian Kinsler on the second pitch of the game with a single to get things started for the Rangers, who are here at Wrigley Field for the first time in 11 years.
Ron Washington, the manager of the Texas Rangers, he's done a nice job since taking over. 90-plus wins each of the last 3 seasons for Wash.
He's the first manager to increase his team's win total in 4 consecutive years after his first season with the club. Well, this will be fun when we see some guys coming off the bench and some relievers tonight, all wearing number 42.
Well, yeah, they're wearing number 42 and they're also wearing ski masks. So I pity the poor kids that were looking for autographs before the game. Hey, you. You're my favorite player. I have no idea who you are, but you're my favorite player.
Here's a pitch. Bunted toward first. Andrews safe. Good play by Travis Wood. I didn't think they had a prayer, and he actually barehanded that throw from Anthony Rizzo. But Andrews, with his speed, beat it out, and they have 2 on with no outs.
Andrews, a very good bunter. You have to be on the lookout for this every time he comes up, and Wood does make a heck of a play, makes it awfully close, but Andrews there just a beat ahead of Travis Wood. Here you go. Here's the photo finish at the wire. Andrews by a nose.
Instant trouble here for Travis Wood. And now facing Adrian Beltre. And the former Dodger with a fair amount of experience here in this ballpark. A career .324 hitter at Wrigley Field. And would I be out of line, JD, in calling Beltre maybe the most underrated player in the game today? Probably don't hear his name enough.
Yeah, that's a good point.
With the offense, the defense. That is going to stay. Nope, kick foul right off the edge of the grass.
And especially he's been playing for a high-profile team. The Rangers, a World Series team in 11 and 12. So it's not like he's been toiling in obscurity, but you're right. I don't think he gets the credit he deserves. A few years back, well, 05, I believe it was, with the Dodgers. 48 bombs. He's been known as a great glove man.
And last year, 36 home runs, and he hit .321. And is arguably the best defensive third baseman in the game. 1 and 2.
I think I need to point out, however, that the triple play is in order.
Yes, it is.
From that cutter, a sharp one hopper to third base. It's not begging, is it? Maybe just a little.
Nothing wrong with that. Nelson Cruz on deck. Just underway, 39 degrees at game time. Wood facing the Rangers for the first time in his career. There's a double play ball. Barney and Castro. That sounds fun to say. And nice play by Rizzo to take care of that throw from Castro. That should have been pretty routine. The throw was up the line a bit, but they turned the 4-6-3.
Well, we didn't get 3, but we got 2. And that will really help clean up the inning. Castro comes across the bag and the sidearm flip sails on him.
Runner at third, 2 outs, and it is Cruz, and he pops it down the right field line out of play.
You get the sense that Castro maybe, and the yips would be too strong of a term, but he's got a little indecisiveness to his game right now defensively in terms of the timing of plays. There have been balls where he's laid back when he needed to hurry. He's hurried balls where he had time, and he's kind of caught in between right now.
And I don't know if it's an excuse, but you know, he's had to play now with 4 different second basemen in the first 2 weeks. And I think there's a little adjustment period with Barney just because they haven't been together for a couple of weeks.
And everything in the cold weather, it just doesn't flow as smoothly.
Inside on a cutter on Cruz, it's 2-1.
Beltre, Cruz, Pierzynski, Berkman, they still have a lot of thunder in this lineup. Even without Josh Hamilton, who has obviously moved along.
Michael Young, Mike Napoli gone as well. That's 75 combined home runs from last year. That's an awkward swing by Cruz. Got a piece of it, 2-2. They led the majors last year with 808 runs. Their pitching has been better than their offense here in the early going.
Yeah, the pitching's been outstanding. Team ERA among the best in baseball. They got a bunch of young arms in that bullpen that there were plenty of doubts about, but they've performed very well so far.
He's run at full 3-2.
Travis does a real nice job, or he has so far anyway, this season, working both sides of the plate. Little change up down and away to the righties, and then he'll throw that cutter in.
Off the end of the bat, popped into short center. And it is Castro to make the catch. So nice job by Wood. Gives up a couple of base hits to start the inning. Gets the double play ball and no damage done. To start the top of the first, let's see how the Cubs fare against lefty Derek Holland. Brought to you by Southwest. They're 0-3 versus left-handed starters. Sapelt, Castro, Rizzo, Soriano, the former Ranger, Hairston, and Castillo. Barney back in there tonight. Alberto Gonzalez, a former Ranger, and Travis Wood, the pitcher.
Rangers defensively have Jeff Baker. You remember him. He's in left. Craig Gentry in center. Nelson Cruz, the right fielder. Third to first, it's Beltre, Andrews, Kinsler, Moreland. Brzezinski behind the plate for Derek Holland. He's our Alexis pursuing perfection starting pitcher for the Rangers this evening. He's 0-1, but he's pitched well. He's got a 2.40 ERA. 2 starts. He's allowed just 2 earned runs in each of those 2 ball games. 15 innings. He's punched out 9, walked 4, allowed 11 hits. Coming off a season in which he went 12-7 with a 4.67 earned run average.
Faced the Cubs in 2010 in Texas. As he starts Sapelt with a strike. Got a no decision. He did give up home runs in that game to Alfonso Soriano and Starlin Castro 3 seasons ago. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Be like Travis Wood, 26 years of age, 4-pitch pitcher. Fastball, curve, slider, change. Likes to sink his fastball.
On the ground to Andrews. They call him Dutch Oven, Derek Holland. I guess if we had to compare him to anybody who Cub fans would be familiar with, it would be his former teammate, Ryan Dempster. And they got along famously after Ryan He was traded to the Rangers last year. They're both big hockey fans. In fact, I met Holland at the Blackhawks game last night.
He's every bit the left-hander, isn't he? Fun personality. It was more fun 2 years ago when he was a 16-game winner with an ERA about a run lower than last season.
Strike called on Castro. I think he'd rather pitch on the road. Career ERA a run less on the road than in that hitter's ballpark in Arlington. Mentioned that home run Castro hit at the ballpark in Arlington.
As I mentioned in the open, an 8-game hitting streak for Castro, 5 of which were multi-hit games, so he's really seeing the ball well. David Bell make a play down there.
Yeah. Only win of the Giants series for the Cubs came on Friday as Castro played at David DeJesus in the bottom of the 9th. General Manager Jed Hoyer today made the football analogy. It seemed like that entire series, the Cubs walked up and down the field, had time of possession advantage, and ended up losing 3 out of 4. It was a strange weekend.
Too many turnovers?
Yeah, that'd be the best way to put it.
That's too bad because they're in a tough stretch of the schedule when you consider the competition, and they've played, well enough in some facets of the game. They just, it's either been kicking it around a little bit or the bullpen breaking down. A lot of winnable games have ended up on the other side of the ledger. Ski cap. Good night to break out the ski cap.
Swing and a miss on a changeup for strike 3.
This ball actually cuts a little bit down and in on Castro, but that'll happen sometimes with his changeup. Ideally, he's trying to fade it away. Sometimes you get around that ball and have kind of a cutting action.
Brings up Anthony Rizzo. 2 outs, nobody on. Fastball misses inside, ball 1. Asked Anthony what he did on the off day. He said nothing, absolutely nothing. Probably the first time since spring training started where he had one full day where he didn't have any responsibility. And you need a day like that. Sleep in,
just veg out,
take a nap,
watch some bad television,
eat lunch, take another nap. Those are great days. Recharge your batteries. The wind and the 1-2 is fouled back. Holland from Newark, Ohio. Didn't realize there was another Newark, but there is. He actually grew up a Braves fan. Fifth round pick back in 06, went to Wallace State Community College in Hanceville, Alabama. Still 2-2.
Looking at a fairly brisk pace here. His fielders will appreciate that. Nobody likes to stand around in the cold.
Job Rizzo staying alive. I often talk about where a pitcher stands on the pitching rubber, a lot of guys will go either the far third or far third base side. You notice Derek Holland starts right in the middle.
Yeah, well, you know, when I was coming up, all lefties worked from the first base side of the rubber and all righties worked from the third base side of the rubber for the most part. In the last 15 years, 10 years or so, you've seen a lot of moving around on the rubber as guys experiment how their stuff plays from each side of the rubber.
Long battle here. Full count on Anthony. Alfonso Soriano's on deck. There's Mike Maddox, a pitching coach. He actually interviewed for the Cubs, a managerial job, when Dale Swain got him. Line and in and out of the glove of Moreland. That's a fair ball, and Rizzo reaches. That'll be a single for Rizzo.
Anthony's had some good swings against lefties in recent days. The ball certainly could have been caught, but really well struck by Rizzo. It'll go as a too hot to handle base hit off a tough lefty.
Well, he can take care of two things with one swing here at some point tonight. Looking for his first RBI and home run.
Rizzo's not a base stealer, but be wary over there with Holland on the mound. He's got an outstanding pickoff move.
Inside for ball one. Soriano, a former Texas Ranger. He went to Texas from the Yankees in the A-Rod deal. It was February 16th, 2004. And then following the 05 season, he was traded to the Washington Nationals. Swing and a miss, 1-2.
Had a monster year with the Nationals.
.46 home runs that season, and then
40-40 that year, right? Stole
yes, he
40
was.
plus bags as well.
And signed the 8-year contract with the Cubs.
Back. Just doing my part.
Inside.
Chris Peter at 94. That was a fastball. That's for show. He's not trying to throw that ball on the plate. If you're willing to swing at it, he's thinking, well, okay, I'll jam you if you try to turn on that pitch. He's just trying to speed him up a little bit. Probably come with something soft here. Goes back to that changeup.
He was way out in front. Reach the upper deck over the Ranger dugout.
Well, if nothing else, the base hit by Rizzo, this at bat by Soriano, has forced Holland to throw a few more pitches in this inning. 26 pitches now for the lefty here in the first.
2-2, and that's hit well to left, but it's going to stay in. And former Cub Jeff Baker puts it away, and we played one at Wrigley Field, 0-0. Statue of Billy Williams at the corner of Sheffield and Addison. And it's great to have Billy with us. Sweet swinging Billy Williams here on Jackie Robinson night. It was 66 years ago yesterday. Jackie broke the color barrier, and we'll talk about the movie a little bit later on with John C. McGinley. But nice event here at the ballpark. Everybody wearing 42, and I know Ernie's here, and a lot of dignitaries at the ballpark.
It really is, Lynn and JD. I looked at the game last night from Los Angeles. I saw Magic Johnson walking Rachel out last night. So it's a great thing. Yesterday we didn't know what was going to happen. Jack had walked on the field in Ebbets Field in Brooklyn, and things began to happen at that time.
Here's A.J. Przinsky, and he takes a strike on the outside corner. When you think about Jackie and the influence he had on your life and career, how would you put it into words?
Well, it just, you know, when I think of 42, Jackie Robinson, I said he opened the doors for us to play the game of baseball. And when he came and when Brent Rickey and he got together and said, we're going to put you in the major league, and of course, it changed not only the game of baseball, it changed the world because, you know, baseball is America's pastime, and we got everybody involved in playing the game of baseball. It was just a day that everybody appreciate that because you saw the full game. I think Jackie brought a lot of excitement to the game, you know, by stealing bases and doing a lot of great things.
Played with a sense of daring, didn't he?
He really did. He really did. I remember one of the last times I was in his company.
Caught by Soriano.
Brad Basket had her day for Jackie here. Chicago had a day for Jackie Robinson. And, of course, the night after the parade, we went over to Dr. Howard. And that's when the last time I saw Jackie. And he'd just been great for the country, you know, when he could do this and you know, let everybody get a chance to play the game of baseball.
Former Cub Jeff Baker. A little reunion here this week with Baker and Przinsky coming back to Chicago. Giovanni Soto with the Rangers as well. Well, Leo DeRocher managed Jackie and later managed you here in Chicago.
Well, he did. And a lot of people asked me, said, you know, who was one of the better managers you played for? And, of course, I always say Leo DeRocher because when he came here, Mr. Wrigley gave him carte blanche and said, just run the ball club. And he took us all the way to the first place. You know, not first place because we was in first place many, many months. And all of a sudden, the Mets got lucky. I think God was living in New York at that time. But Leo managed the Cubs, and Leo managed the Dodgers, and he knew Jackie real well. And I think one of the things that happened, both of them, you know, if a guy was running around third base and score, both of them was trip him up because they were winners. They wanted to go out there and play baseball and win.
First strikeout for Travis Wood, 2 outs, and it'll bring up Mitch Moreland. And when you think about Jackie, you think about Larry Doby.
Mm-hmm.
You think about Buck O'Neill.
Mm-hmm.
Frank Robinson, first black manager.
Uh-huh.
Tell us about Buck O'Neill. I know probably still doesn't get the due that he deserved.
He really don't. He really don't. I remember Buck O'Neill was one of Jackie Robinson's first managers. And when I signed to play professional baseball, I remember going to Arizona. And Buck O'Neill was like a father figure to me. And I got to know him real well. And many, many times conversation was about Jackie Robinson, what kind of player he was, what he did to win baseball games. And, you know, a lot of people think that, you know, when Jackie came to Major League, Larry Doby was right behind him. Larry came and he was the first player that was with the American League Ball Club. So all of those individuals, you know, they made a significant contribution to what I have done in the game of baseball. As you look out and see a lot of black players out there now, you know, they opened the door for us.
A door that was still not easy to walk through. I mean, he was the first one. That doesn't mean it made it easy for the rest of you guys that came along. You still faced some hardships, and especially in the minor leagues, I'm guessing.
Well, we did, JD. You know, when I talk about Jackie Robinson, he became a major league player in 1947. And 9 years later, I signed a professional baseball contract to go to Ponca City, Oklahoma. And a lot of things I went through, and I didn't go through as much as Jackie Robinson went through, but I did have to face some hardships when I played the game of baseball. And when you go through these kind of things, you learn to appreciate, you look for the bigger picture, getting in the major league. And I was always concerned about that.
2-2 the count on Mitch Moreland. And that is outside. 3-2 full count. On deck is the center fielder Craig Gentry. Going to warm up this week, right, Billy? You're going to bring in warm weather here at some point?
I think the weather's going to be pretty good the weekend, but they lead town.
Yeah, that's right. There's a bouncer to Rizzo. He will flip to Travis Wood. Billy, thanks for stopping by on a special night tonight.
It's really real good, and we're going to enjoy the Jackie Robinson night. We're going to have a good time, but most important, we want to win.
Let's get a W. That's right. Sweet swinging,
real
Billy
good.
Williams. Thanks,
Thank you,
Billy.
guys.
Thank you, Billy.
Thank you.
At Wrigley, and the first 10,000 fans will receive a special Cubs winter hat. Compliments of Pepsi. There you go. To purchase tickets, visit Cubs.com.
Always great to chat with Billy Williams. 0-0 as the Cubs will bat in the bottom of the second. Called strike on Scott Hairston. Good hack at that one. 0-2. Yeah, if you get a chance, make sure you buy Billy Williams My Sweet Swingin' Lifetime with the Cubs, which came out, I believe, 2008. Fly ball well hit to left. Ball's just not carrying tonight. It's Baker.
That ball seemed to be pretty well struck, but didn't go very well. Just going to have to get on top, hit some line drives.
The catcher, Wellington Castillo, off to a red hot start at the plate. Fastball low for ball one.
You mentioned earlier that the Cubs were 0-3 in games started by opposing left-handers. They're hitting just .208 as a team against left-handed pitching this year.
Cue shot on the ground, and Kinsler, moving to his glove side, will make the play.
And the platoon guys, Sapelt and Hairston, have not been able to get much going yet offensively.
And a nice hand for Darwin Barney, who makes his season debut tonight. Coming back from the left knee laceration. He said he's got a little pad on that knee just to give it a little extra protection. It's basically healed. He had a 4-hit night for Iowa last night in his final rehab game, and he takes ball 1.
So they've called up a red hot hitter just in the nick of time.
Fouled at the dish. Well, bad luck for Darwin. It was literally his final inning of spring training, and he couldn't help himself. He went after a foul pop-up in Houston and slid into the sidewall, and there's a little cement area, and he really split that knee open and ended up missing the first 2 weeks.
Yeah, similar injury to Alan Craig of the Cardinals last year cost him significant time. Craig did his during the regular season.
And it's fouled away. And I think Darwin even said, I can't really argue about the lack of padding there because we've got a lot of brick walls here at Wrigley Field. You're going to run into stuff.
People with brick walls shouldn't throw stones, that kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah, but that's a weird one though, because it juts out away from the wall. It's got that little edge to it. But there's two schools of thought, right, in spring training or any kind of exhibition game. One says you play all out because if you try to slow down, you might get hurt because you're not playing the game the way you normally play it. And the other school of thought says, well, it's an exhibition game. Play hard, but don't put yourself in harm's way. I belong to the school of the latter. I get it. You want to make plays, but when you approach barriers or contemplate headfirst slides and things of that nature in spring training, I would ask my guys to back off.
Well, I was there and I saw it, and it looked like a pretty benign play, and he actually slid to, I think, avoid running into the wall, but he just bad timing, I guess. Called strike 3 on the outside corner to end the inning. Cubs go down in order in the second. After 2 on a chilly night on the north side, scoreless. Twitter using hashtag Cubs Talk. We'll read one back later in the game. Our AT&T tweet of the game. Travis Wood will face Gentry, Holland, and Kinsler here for Texas in the third inning. Gentry shares time in center with Leonis Martin. One and one. Wood working quickly. Close, didn't get it.
Snaps off a good breaking ball here. Look good enough.
One was not. 3-1. Wood off to a good start. One win, one no decision. At least 6 innings, each of his first 2 times out. And a leadoff walk. And if you're Ron Washington, this is the ideal situation. If you're an American League manager in a National League park, all you want your pitchers to do is get down a bunt.
Which is what a lot of National League managers want from their National League pitchers too. But in Holland, he's probably frustrated. The American League guys don't get to swing that often, so he'd rather go up there and be able to take a whack. Obviously, he's going to be asked to bunt here.
He's listed as a switch hitter. Been digging through the archives to find a video of that last sacrifice bunt, but we still haven't found it.
The sac bunt usually doesn't make it onto the highlight reel.
No, it doesn't.
Save that. That could be important.
Like he just shook his head no at Gary Pettis down at third base, as if to say, I have no idea what you just told me.
Or he said, I don't know how many ABs I'm getting this year. I'm going to swing.
There's the bunt, and Wood will fire to first, so it is his first sacrifice in 4 seasons. Like, no.
I don't know what that meant. You just want me to bunt, right? Well, it's the kind of night where one run could be really significant, so he does a nice job getting a bunt down, and Kinsler very productive out of that leadoff spot. It brings a lot to the table. High on base percentage, also has power.
Kinsler is usually easy to spot with those pant bottoms hiked up just below the knees. It's long been his MO sartorially. Off the plate outside.
Not a bad idea going soft away with Kinsler. He gets very good plate coverage. He's quick inside. You want to crowd him a little bit because he'll go out and take that pitch on the outer third and yank it to left. Good power, and you can pull the ball out away from him, so you got to make him aware inside. He's pretty quick in there too.
Caught the outside corner. Kinsler, a 3-time All-Star. A couple of 30-30 seasons. In fact, there are only 3 second basemen ever who've had a 30-30 season, at least one. And 2 of them are in the ballpark tonight. One of them is playing left field for the Cubs. The other is Brandon Phillips.
Barney going to try to tighten Gentry up a little bit out there at second base.
Count evens at 2-2.
Shading that way anyway is Barney, playing Kinsler to pull a little bit, so that allows him to sneak in behind Gentry just to kind of slow him down, shorten that secondary lead a little bit, maybe give your outfielders a chance to throw him out on a line drive single.
Foul pop out of play. And with the Rangers here for the first time since 2002. There's still one National League ballpark they haven't played a regular season game in. That's Busch Stadium. Now, they played the Cardinals in the 2011 World Series. But their first regular season series in St. Louis will come in June of this year. Hard hit ground ball right to Barney. Gentry to third, but there are 2 outs.
Come out and enjoy beautiful Wrigley Field all season long. Tickets are available for the next homestand that will feature the Padres, Reds, and Cardinals. Purchase your tickets. Visit Cubs.com. Or you can call the number 1-800-THE-CUBS. Pods, Reds, and Cardinals.
Andrews for the bunt single in the opening inning. So this is a first matchup at Wrigley Field between these 2 teams in 3,953 days.
You've been doing some math. Advanced math at that.
I wish I could tell you that I added it up, but it's the second line of the Cubs game notes tonight. I can't lie.
Why not?
Popped him up. This should end the inning. Barney calls off Rizzo, and that's it. Leadoff walk yields no runs. We are still 0-0 in the third. With the foundation, Kane County Cougars, The new web series exclusively on CSNChicago.com takes you inside the Cubs single A affiliate. Watch the premiere webisode available now only on CSNChicago.com. Matt Garza will begin a rehab assignment at Kane County starting on Friday. Alberto Gonzalez, who was on the Rangers opening day roster last year, a 1-1 count. He's playing third tonight. It's 2-1. Three and one on Gonzalez. Wood is on deck. But a leadoff walk from the 8-hitter. That's what happened in the top of this inning. Instead, it'll be a ground out to Kinsler. Well, one guy who's pretty disappointed he won't be able to face his former teammates in this series, Scott Feldman, whose start tomorrow has been pushed back to Saturday because of some back tightness resulting from the very first play of his last start against the Giants when he slipped and fell covering first base. He said some of his former mates were giving him the business. You're ducking us. It was not the case. He would have gladly pitched tomorrow night. Strike on Travis Wood.
Always fun to go out there against your old teammates. Travis Wood with 3 home runs in his career. You know, one off Adam Wainwright, one off Giovanni Gallardo. Well, he's not picking on slouches. Third one was off of Anuri Rodriguez of the Astros, who I don't know if he's in the big leagues now or not. Look at that, she just knit that hat since the game started. That's amazing. It's like the mom of the year right there.
Top foul. Mom, I need a hat. 25 minutes.
Yep. Let me work on that.
That is high. Well, you speak from experience in terms of pitching against your former team. You were 2-0 against the Astros.
Was I now?
With an ERA in the ones. Swing and a miss. He got him. Chicago Cubs summer camps offer children ages 5 to 13 of all abilities the ultimate major league experience in convenient locations around the Chicago area. Join fellow teammates for a week of top-notch baseball instruction, exclusive VIP access, and unforgettable moments. Visit Cubs.com/camps to sign up your future Cub today. Two quick ones. The Cubs leadoff man, Dave Chappelle. Swing and a miss to end the inning. So Holland getting comfortable on this Wrigley Field mound, making his debut in this ballpark. No score after 3. Cool Ranch Doritos, Locos Tacos from Taco Bell. Liv Moss. Always great to see the Menards grounds crew. They may be a little busy the next couple of days, smoothing out that infield dirt before the top of the fourth inning. A great gesture. The Yankees tonight played Sweet Caroline between innings for the people of Boston. And the Cubs will do the same tonight in the middle of the eighth inning. That song has become very popular in Boston with the Red Sox over the last several years, and a very nice gesture. Adrian Beltre lines to deep left. That ball's going to be right at the base of the wall, and it'll be an easy double. Hardest hit ball of the night, and it's a leadoff two-base hit.
And a night where there's not yet been a lot of solid contact. A ringing double off the bat of Adrian Beltre, and he's looking for a little redemption. He grounded into a 4-6-3 double play in the first after the Rangers had gotten a couple of base hits to get the inning started. Came into this game hitting just .224, one of the big reasons why the Ranger offense has been down.
Pitch to Nelson Cruz. He pops it up. Might be a play over there. Travis Wood got over there, but it'll be Rizzo to make the catch.
Yeah, Wood's a very good athlete. He's going to go try and make plays. We're going to have to run him off the ball.
And as A.J. Przinsky comes up, let's take a look at our Xfinity high-speed action. A return home for A.J., 8 years with the White Sox. You can hear the booing in the background. And I'm not sure if Gio will get a start in this series. A.J.'s taken most of the time behind the plate for the Rangers. Both with very good productive careers here in the city of Chicago. Whoop. That gets by, and that could be significant. Well, we saw a lot of this on Sunday against the Giants. Cubs had a pass ball and then a record 5 wild pitches in one inning. It's got to be a pass ball.
Yeah, announced wild pitch, but I imagine they'll adjust that one. But that's going to force the Cubs to pull the infield in here for Przinsky with just one out.
And Bob Rosenberg working his first Cub game of the season tonight. Changed it to a pass ball as Przinsky swings and misses 1-1.
Wood not a big strikeout pitcher, but this is a time you'd love to get one and get ahead of Przinsky, see if he'll chase.
AJ really muscled up last year. 27 home runs, a career high.
There he goes. Got the jump on him. 1 ball, 2 strikes. So whatever it is they talked about in their pregame meeting, how to finish off Przinsky, what his weakness is, you want to try to exploit it right here. And it's breaking ball down, fastball up, whatever his chase pitch is.
And he got him. AJ was a little late on that fastball at 89, 2 down.
Already trying to protect there with 2 strikes. You know, you're in a defensive mode, so you didn't want to get fooled by the breaking ball when he wasn't quick enough to get to the fastball. Some good situational pitching right there.
Now Baker, who was very good as a Cub against left-handed pitching. 2 outs in the inning. And he drives this one out into very deep left center. Right at the 368 marker for a run-scoring double. So Jeff Baker strikes against his former team. And it's 1-0 Texas.
Tries to get the jump on him with a breaking ball. Baker's ready for it. And it really gets extended through with that big long swing. left-handed hitting Mitch Moreland on deck. You might argue he should have been more cautious with Baker, but this early in the game, you don't want to get too defensive and start putting people on base. It's only the 4th inning.
Baker, by the way, was a non-roster invitee to spring training. He hit .424 in Arizona to make the club. Moreland lines, diving catch. Alberto Gonzalez to end the inning. That saved a run. Baker would have easily scored. As it is, the Rangers get the first tally of the night. It's 1-0.
Replay. And Alberto Gonzalez. You saw where he was stationed prior to the pitch. Johnny on the spot, little lunging snag of that line drive. Saved 1 run, and another man would have been in scoring position. That could prove to be huge.
Was that your Harry Callis impersonation?
I was winding the tape down. Either that or Finding Nemo. I don't know.
Castro struck out swinging in the opening inning.
Reminds me of a line, and we talked about this earlier this year. Joe Madden, talking with him a couple years ago, and he talked about how his team catches line drives. So they do a lot of. He was making the argument that they did, a lot of homework and positioning, and of course we see it with everybody now with the shifting. So the Rangers, though, showing signs of life in the top of the inning. 3 really well hit balls, 2 doubles, then the line out. See if the Cubs have an answer here, as they'll get their second look here at Holland. Maybe it's the hair. Something about the way he pitches, though, reminds me a little bit of Frank Viola.
Good call.
Frankie V had that good mix of pitches.
And pretty good hair.
And good hair.
Mentioned the Yankees earlier. They're hosting the Arizona Diamondbacks in a rematch of the 2001 World Series. And the Yanks have a 3-2 lead as they head to the 6th. Robinson Cano with his 4th home run. It's wide of third. It's foul.
Do you think the Yankees invited Luis Gonzalez out to throw out a first pitch?
No.
Prior to that series?
Guessing not. How about Bob Brenly back with the Diamondbacks in their broadcast booth?
Maybe a little wave, a little shout out to BB.
Yeah. Well, the last time we were in New York, we were walking out of the ballpark, and a Yankee fan got right in Bob's face and said, "You going to bring BK in again? You going to bring him in?" And all Bob did is raised his right hand to show off the ring. It's a great response. Guy had nothing to say at that point.
Yeah, dropped a little scoreboard on him. You talk about that Yankee-Red Sox rivalry. Luis Gonzalez tells a story about going to dinner in Boston years after beating the Yankees in the World Series. And he got a standing ovation from the patrons in the restaurant.
Fly ball to center. Gentry back a couple of steps and gets locked in. 1 out. Speaking of locked in, Derek Holland has given up one base runner. That was Rizzo's hit in the first inning, a line drive that glanced off the glove of Mitch Moreland as it starts to lightly rain here at the ballpark.
It's the kind of night where you could see a no-hitter being thrown. Such a cold, tough night for the hitters.
Outside for ball 1. Starting to rain a little harder now. Cubs will not face Yu Darvish in this series because of the weather forecast. Rangers already announcing that a few days ago. They will get Justin Grimm, a right-hander, tomorrow. He's in for Matt Harrison, who's on the DL. And Alexi Ogando will pitch Thursday against Jeff Samardzija. Carlos Villanueva tomorrow for the Cubs. 2-2.
Wouldn't be a bad idea for the Cub hitters to take a little extra time, step out, try to disrupt the rhythm of Holland here a little bit.
Left field, Baker. And that's out number 2.
Bad swing, though, so 2 pretty good ABs for Rizzo tonight off the tough lefty. Speaking of no hitters, happy anniversary, Bert Hooton. He's a 22-year-old rookie for the Cubs back in 1972, and only his 4th major league game. He no-hit the Philadelphia Phillies. And up to that point, he had allowed just 8 hits in 30 innings.
Wow. Hooked into left. Baker chasing. Can't get it. Soriano around first. Racing towards second. And he is in. With a 2-out double.
Soriano wasting no time. Jumps on that first pitch breaking ball. Baker was playing very deep. That allows him to get on this ball in a hurry. Off the wall out there and left. So Soriano has to bust it hard around first base. Could not cruise into second on this one. Throw a little bit offline. Otherwise, it would have been a close play.
A shot here for Hairston, as the Cubs have their first plate appearance with a runner in scoring position tonight. And it'll be a runner at third as AJ couldn't locate it.
That ball game by AJ, I think, has brought the biggest response from the crowd yet tonight. Ball in the dirt will likely be ruled a wild pitch, but that's a ball that a catcher is expected to keep in front of him.
Cubs have gone 0 for their last 23 with men in scoring position. Baker again. And the wind pushes that ball out of play. A very familiar area.
Down there where he who should not be named.
Right.
Voldemort. There's Yu Darvish.
We'll be talking base stealing with Gary Pettis, who could fly back in the day. He was a great center fielder. The liner's caught by Andrews. Little leap in the grab to end the inning. Some hard hit balls in this 4th inning as the Cubs strand Soriano at third. We'll hear from Patrick Mooney coming up. Lots of Cub news today. 1-0 Texas. Patrick Mooney, presented by Nationwide's Jeff Vukovich. Click jeffvuk.com. Nationwide is on your side. Busy day at the ballpark today. Tons of roster moves. Both Jed Hoyer and Theo Epstein met the media. Where should we start?
Yeah, I guess we start at the end of the game with the ninth inning problems where, the Cubs thought they could have swept the defending World Series champs and gotten, a huge bounce on a very difficult homestand. Instead, they're kind of rearranging the pieces, and I'm not really sure who's the closer. And Dale had said 10 days from now, I don't want to be talking about this after he made the change, and we're kind of back to where we started.
And he's not going to make any changes in terms of the philosophy. He's still going to go closer by matchup. There's a bouncer off the bat of Craig Gentry back to Travis Wood, but a couple of veteran right-handers now added to the bullpen mix. Cody Ransom basically replaces Brent Lillibridge, and the most significant change is that Darwin Barney's back.
Yeah, you saw the defense. I think the word Theo and Jed and Dale have kind of used as sloppy, and you see, Darwin Barney, obviously his gold glove defense, and then just his presence out there. He brings a lot of intangibles, and that might help clean things up a little bit here.
Pitcher Holland batting with one out and nobody on. And I know a lot of Theo's comments today regarding what happened in Boston yesterday. And I talked to a lot of people who were there, and it's such a small town. You think of Boston as a big city, but Patriots Day, that is the place to be.
Yeah, it's such a unique kind of only in Boston experience. And Theo was saying that he spoke to his twin brother Paul about 45 minutes before the bombs went off. Then there was about 20 anxious minutes there trying to locate him with cell phone service down, and fortunately he made it through all right. And obviously everyone's thoughts and prayers are with Boston.
3-1 on the pitcher. And the off day yesterday was very busy here at Wrigley Field as well, as framework of the renovation deal announced by Tom Ricketts.
Yeah, I hope they get you guys a warmer press box up here. But,
you're enjoying this, aren't you?
Yeah.
A little warmer over there where the writers sit.
I'm going to burn my shoes here in a minute.
But yeah, I mean, clearly you see what what a team like Boston did to their payroll and their on-field product with the renovated Fenway Park. And I think the baseball operations department is kind of looking forward to that, and hopefully for them it times up when some of these prospects get a little closer to Wrigley Field.
That is at least the third walk Cubs pitcher has dealt to the other team's pitcher. It's a problem they had last year. I know Samardzija did it the other day. And, man. So Travis Wood shaking his head as he faces Kinsler with Holland now at first base.
Yeah, I think you got to be careful in the clubhouse not to talk about it too much. It's one of those weird things that gets into your head, kind of like a basketball team with poor free throw shooting. That you keep harping on it, and the next thing you know, it becomes a big issue. I mean, it's not anything that really a pitcher needs to be reminded of. You messed up when you walk the opposing pitcher.
Last thing, Patrick, let's get some injury updates. Matt Garza, Scott Baker, Ian Stewart.
Matt Garza, as he tweeted out earlier, is pitching on Friday for Class A Kane County, which is essentially his kind of first spring training start, starting back up with that again. Obviously, he's pretty excited. Ian Stewart has begun playing at Iowa. Still kind of wait and see mode with him after injuring his quad in, I think, first at bat, first inter-squad scrimmage. And Scott Baker was in town this weekend, but that doesn't really change his time frame. I think he was shut down for about a month without throwing a ball. Then you have to start right back up again. And so a couple nice pieces for the rotation this summer.
And we should know with Ian Stewart, Jed Hoyer today said the quad feels good, but it's really two parts. It's rehabbing the quad, but also he didn't have any spring training.
Exactly.
So it's still going to take him maybe a few weeks to get back. 1-2 on Ian Kinsler. Fly ball to left. Soriano back on the track. He's going to have room, and that is out number 2. All right, you can get back into your toasty press box.
I appreciate that.
Thanks for the time. Million things going on here, but you're on top of all of it. And make sure you check out Patrick, csnchicago.com. Thanks.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Patrick.
Appreciate it. 1-0 Texas, 2 outs. Here's Andrews.
I'll take mine with cream but no sugar, please.
Swinging strike on Andrews. Oh, and 2. Called strike 3. Well, if you want to stay warm, that's the place to be. Unlike us, toughen it. 1-0.
Their 3-cheese queso love to the Chicagoland area. Opt into Qdoba's mobile club by texting Q to 50500, and you'll have a chance to receive free chips and queso. That would work on a night like tonight.
Sure would. Castillo takes a pitch low from Derek Holland. 1-0 Texas. They got a run on a Jeff Baker double in the 4th. If you go back to the end of last year, Rangers ended up with their 3rd consecutive postseason berth, but they blew a 5-game lead in their division with 9 to go as the A's swept them in the final series of the regular season to steal a division. The Rangers spent 178 days leading, a record according to Elias for a team that did not win its division going back to when we started divisional play in 1969. That's tough to do. So 178 days is roughly 6 months. That's the whole season.
Yeah.
And then they had to play in the wild card. Yeah, and then they lost to the Orioles. Huge disappointment to have their season come to such an abrupt end after back-to-back pennants.
And that's why things really ended badly in Arlington with Josh Hamilton, because he went into a funk late in the year and really struggled down the stretch. Was booed by the fans in Texas.
And that'll continue now that he's with the Angels.
Yeah, they've been to town already, and they gave him the business.
Pulled the left and foul. We've seen a lot of right-handed hitters hit balls right down that line against this changeup from Derek Holland.
He's had the Cub hitters off stride all night because he throws hard. He's throwing 93, 94 miles an hour with his fastball. If you're going to compete with that, you got to be able to get the head out. And if he throws that changeup, if you don't see it early, you're in trouble.
Deep to center, Gentry with a beat on it, and right at the edge of the dirt for the out.
I'm trying to figure out a way the Cubs are going to start to have success against left-handed pitching. I think Castillo's, will be one of the guys in his career. He hasn't been around a long time, but coming into this season, he was really good against lefties. So look for him to start to inflict some damage against the southpaws.
I don't have the record or the numbers in front of me for Barry Zito in Milwaukee, but they're awful. And it continues tonight. Gave up 8 runs in the 3rd inning. The Brewers lead 9-3. It's the most runs he's ever allowed in 1 inning. Barney skies to left. Baker the man on the spot. 2 outs. Time now for our AT&T tweet of the game. Question is, with the current rebuilding of the Cubs, would it make sense to let some of the younger guys come up and get some experience? And a lot of people ask us that in spring training when we saw Javier Baez and Jorge Soler. The answer right now is no. And in the case of those 2 guys in particular, the last I checked, Baez was hitting under 200. And it's not about the results right now, but they both need to develop. They both need to play. Soler, with that suspension from last week, you don't want to bring them up before they're ready.
Well, and then who are the guys that are on the cusp that are the quote unquote young guys that you're talking about? And there really isn't. The guys that everybody's focusing on are lower level guys, and they're just not ready to compete at this level yet. And so bringing them up here isn't going to give them experience. It's going to probably bury them. They would come up and they'd be over their heads. They'd be competing against big league competition, and you could argue, well, they did fine in spring training. Well, that's a completely different animal. To get up here and try to find success on a daily basis at the big league level, you really haven't even conquered Double-A ball.
It's a lot to ask. Swing and a miss. Gonzalez strikes out, and Holland carries a 1-0 lead into the 6th. Field with more than 40 flat screens. Great food in Wrigley's largest outdoor patio. Come celebrate a Cubs win and join us for the Captain Morgan Club post-game party featuring great music and Wrigley's friendliest staff. For more information, including specials and private party options, call 773-404-4750. That's caffeine free, I assume.
There you go.
Otherwise, you may be up all night. Beltre doubled and scored the lone run in the fourth. He will start the Rangers' sixth. Braves have 5 solo home runs tonight. Playing the Kansas City Royals, leading 6-2 as they go to the ninth. Francisco has 2. Hayward has 1. Justin Upton has hit his 8th. Dan Uggla his 3rd. Gobbled up by Castro. So 3 interleague series, JD, going on right now.
That Atlanta club, they have a lot of firepower. They're going to hit a ton of home runs. Yeah, what's up with that, Len? What's
I don't know. We had 1 per, the first 2 weeks. I guess just kind of easing in. The suggestion has been made by some to swap the rules for interleague play. In other words, for this series, for instance, you would have the DH. And then when the Cubs go to Seattle or Oakland, you wouldn't have the DH. Are you of the mindset that that would be a good thing to do or not?
I'd be fine with that. One of the arguments is that, well, there's a lot of the DHs are veteran type, star type players like the Rangers. Their designated hitter is Lance Berkman. He's not in the lineup tonight, so this would be a way for visiting fans to see. Of course, Cub fans have seen plenty of Berkman over the years, but you get the idea to see a frontline player for the other club that sitting in the clubhouse drinking coffee right now, probably. Because the Puma doesn't like Wrigley.
No, he doesn't. Lance has never been shy about sharing his thoughts on this ballpark. And when you look at his numbers here, you understand why. He has hit .215 in his career here. Too many parks in which he's hit that low.
I wonder, it's kind of a chicken and egg thing. Right? Does Lance hit so poorly here because he doesn't like it here? Or does he not like it here because he hit so poorly here?
Well, he's 7 for 11 lifetime against Travis Wood with 2 home runs, but still was not in the lineup. And remember, 2 knee surgeries last year, so the weather has a lot to do with it. Cruz broke his bat as he grounds a ball to Barney. The Gold Glover will throw him out.
But yeah, to finish the point, I have no problem with that. I don't like is all the talk I'm hearing about eliminating the pitcher hitting altogether and going to the DH in both leagues. I really hope that doesn't happen.
I agree with you. I do think it will happen at some point. Cutter missed outside on Przinsky. Four hits for the Rangers, just 2 for the Cubs. On this very cold night. And a little rain earlier. It has pretty much stopped. On the ground to Rizzo. Wood to the bag. And a quiet inning. 3 ground ball outs for the Cubs lefty. Trying to get some offense going here in the bottom of the 6th. Trailing 1-0. at the Madhouse on Madison. Tune in as former Marquette Golden Eagle Jimmy Butler leads the charge against John Hall's Wizards. And Chicago cements its playoff seat. Bulls Wizards tomorrow night at 6:30 on Comcast Sportsnet. I don't have all the seeding details, but I heard some of the discussion today on the radio. You know, you could get the Nets and maybe the Heat in the second round. Maybe the Pacers, Knicks. I think the best thing would be to avoid the Miami Heat at all costs in every round. That'd be the best.
Let somebody else try to ambush them. And
yeah, to the NBA title. Just don't play them at all.
That's Dorothy.
And getting Derrick Rose back. Not sure if that'll happen or not. Pretty well hit. But again, the wind not helping anything to right tonight. Nelson Cruz with his first catch of the evening.
Whether the Cubs are home or on the road, guided tours of legendary Wrigley Field are available. Tours include visits to the press box, clubhouses, dugouts, as well as a chance to actually step on the field. This must-see Chicago attraction houses almost 100 years of history. For game days and non-game day schedules or to book your tour, how about Cubs.com/tours? Do it today.
Sapelt 0 for 2.
Dave needs something good to happen.
And going back to your comment about this particular lineup, now Darwin Barney is in it, not Brent Lillibridge, but just haven't been able to get anything going against lefties. Now, if you're Dale Swaim, the next time you face a lefty, in order to make changes, you're basically going to have to put some left-handed hitters in the lineup. It's about the only thing he can really do as a manager in terms of messing with his lineup.
Right, and then you're committed to a plan coming out of spring training, and you want to give that plan a chance to take hold and develop. So that's the challenge for a manager: when to pull the plug, when to shake things up, or when you stick with your guys and believe that they're going to be able to come out of it. That's a tough gig. We talk so much about game strategy, but the managerial job is so much more than that. Managing personalities, giving guys a chance to settle in, putting guys in their best possible positions to have success. I don't know what's the magic number, right, of how many ABs do you give a guy before you pull the plug. Especially in these conditions, it's tough to hit anyway. And then you're a part-time player. You're playing once every 4 days or so. That's where Dale brings some perspective to it, because he did a fair bit of that in his career.
Yeah.
A tough gig, this manager. He's an old-time, long-time minor league manager, coaching the big leagues too. Rocky Bridges. He said there's 3 things every guy thinks he can do better than everybody else: build a fire, run a hotel, and manage a ball club.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. Build a fire.
You got that right. If somebody's putting a fire together or getting ready to grill, and no, you got to stack it this way, you got to do that. And his hotel perspective comes from a guy who's in baseball that spent a lot of time in hotels, but everybody thinks they can manage better than the manager.
Strike to Castro. The Cubs have not had 2 on in any inning. They've only had 1 man in scoring position, and that was with 2 outs. Holland has been in command tonight.
So just shy of 100 pitches now.
First time here at Wrigley Field as a player. Came here as a fan about 5 years ago.
the Cubs have been able to work some deep counts on him, but they've yet to draw a walk, and he really hasn't made that many pitches under duress. So it's pretty comfortable 6 innings for him so far.
A pop up into shallow right. Sidestepping Ian Kinsler will end the inning. We'll go to the 7th. John C. McGinley, who will sing the stretch, will join us. 1-0 Rangers. Stats, tweets with Cubs in-game live only at csnchicago.com. Brought to you by Comcast Business Class. John C. McGinley getting ready for the 7th inning stretch tonight. Big baseball fan, and can you give us some Red Barber?
Hello again, everybody. It's the old redhead coming to you from high up at the Copper seat at Wrigley Field. The home game for the Cubs against the Rangers.
Very nice.
We
nice.
could go get a cup of coffee and just turn this over, man. We're all set.
Or for Red, it'd be a can of corn.
Nice to meet you, John.
Thank you. Good to see you
Long-time
guys.
fan. Looking forward. Have not seen 42 yet. Planning on it very soon as Jeff Baker bounces into left. And how much studying did you do of Red Barber to prepare for the role?
I had about 6 weeks where I spent time with Red and a couple of discs of World Series that he did with Mel Allen between 47 and 52. And so there were about 12 games total that I just obsessed out on trying to get his rhythm and trying to get his sound.
It's hard to believe, isn't it? Vince Scully, who was his protege, still going strong today, doing every game by himself.
An intern for 4 years.
Amazing.
Unbelievable. But Red had a profound imprint on Vin, and you can still hear it in Vin's broadcast to this day. And that's an asset, not a liability.
No question. Mitch Moreland, the batter. 1 ball, no strikes.
So were you tempted to go, like, find a pickup game somewhere and just kind of do a little play-by-play?
It's a good question. I almost similar to that. I ended up listening to Red in my truck as I was driving around Los Angeles. I still have a truck that has a CD player in it, and I'd answer back to him in the broadcasts. It got really obsessive compulsive.
Slicing drive caught by Soriano, and Baker will get back to first. You've been in a lot of things in your career, but I have to think it was really an honor not only to play Red Barber, but to be in such an inspirational film.
Well, my self-imposed mandate about playing Red Barber in 42 was to be true to the sound that Brooklyn Dodger fanatics. There are no Brooklyn Dodger fans, asked Jerry Reinsdorf. There are only Brooklyn Dodger fanatics, and it's an aging demographic. And I wanted to be true to their memory. The way Brooklyn Dodger fanatics hold that sound dear to their heart as a father might hold a child to their heart. It is dear, and I wanted to elevate to that sound.
Craig Gentry, the batter. You were excited to sing the stretch.
I was excited to be in Wrigley Field. What are you kidding me? It's the greatest.
Wood looking for a ground ball here. And he gets it. All right, John, you ready?
Bingo.
Here we go. Time for the stretch with John C. McGinley.
Today's guest conductor for Take Me Out to the Ball Game, cast member of 42, John C. McGinley.
All right, fans, let me hear you. A 1 and a 2 and a 3. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the show. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if we ever come back, and it's root for the Cubbies. If they don't win, it's a shame. Here we go. And it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. Come on, Cubs, let's score some runs.
Or 3 double play. Great job by John McGinley. What a nice guy.
Well, he nailed Red Barber, didn't he?
Yes, he did. Anthony Rizzo, first pitch swinging, and he'll ground out to Kinsler. Quickly 1 out. MLB.com at bat is the #1 source for live baseball everywhere you go. Available for iPhone, iPad, Android, and BlackBerry 10. At Bat delivers Cubs baseball with live audio, pitch tracking, stats, news, highlights, and more. Text at bat to 31826 or visit Cubs.com for details. Derek Holland has been in command throughout.
The Cubs have not made a lot of solid contact off of him. One guy who did was Soriano when he doubled with 2 outs back in the 4th. Rizzo's single off the glove of first baseman Moreland was well struck. Hairston lined out in the 4th, but other than that, there has not been a lot of sharp contact off of Holland. Cold here, colder in Denver. They're playing a doubleheader, the Rockies and the Mets are. It's 32 degrees in Denver. Rockies won the opener 8-4. They're playing the nightcap now.
Yeah, the Rockies owner was out shoveling snow before the game. They had a delay. They were snowed out yesterday. Dick Monfort grabbed a snow shovel.
That's leading by example.
Vice President Bill Guyvet was wearing a Montreal Expos jacket. He was out there shoveling snow along with Dan O'Dowd to get ready for the game. Sandy Alderson was on the other side of the field shoveling as well. Everybody pitching in on the hands and fought off. ton of strikes from Derek Holland. And a lot of quality strikes. On the ground at third, Beltre will take a look at that. Throws over to Moreland.
Yeah, I think the thing that Holland has done best tonight is, one, he's worked quickly, thrown a lot of strikes, and really from the very first inning on is used his off-speed pitches very effectively. Sometimes you see a guy pitch a shutdown game and he's just painting with his fastball. It's all about fastball command, and his fastball command has been fine, but to me it's been the changeup, slow breaking ball to go along with that 94-mile-an-hour heater. So it's been more a case of not necessarily just painting corners, but having the Cubs hitters off balance all night.
Bounced out front of home plate. Scott Hairston, whose father Jerry played for the White Sox. Told Vine Line, I was a Sox fan growing up. I had to be. I think if I grew up rooting for the Cubs, my dad would have been really upset. He did, however, go to a lot of games here at Wrigley Field. I loved Rhino and Andre Dawson, Lee Smith, Sean Dunston.
He didn't mention Keith Moreland?
Well, that was assumed. He was a fan of Zonk's. This will get Holland out of the seventh as Baker makes a catch. Now Holland due to lead off the Ranger eighth. We'll see what Ron Washington decides to do.
Predators on Comcast Sportsnet. Tune in for a special broadcast as CSN celebrates play-by-play announcer Pat Foley's 30th year with the Hawks. Don't miss Pat Foley night during Blackhawks Predators Friday night at 7 on Comcast Sportsnet.
.333 left in the third. Oh, that'll be a fun night. Pat Foley night. Looking forward to it. Len Casper here from Vermont. Welcome.
Feels like home, I bet. I wonder if they brought any maple syrup.
Leury Garcia pinch hitting for the Rangers starter Derek Holland. First pitch swinging. Be caught out there by Hairston. Oh yeah, some Vermont maple syrup. That sounds good.
There'll be some Cherry Garcia just pinch hitting.
There's Kinsler. Well, we can ask Ron Washington. 108 pitches, 7 innings. If this were an American League game, would you have let Holland come out and work the bottom of the 8th? Kind of an easy decision for him tonight. Trying to add on, leading by only 1.
The Ranger bullpen has been pretty darn good, so I'm guessing even if this were an American League game, he would have lifted Holland after 100+ pitches this early in the year. I mean, it's just the way most managers play it nowadays. National League ball sometimes takes the manager off the hook a little bit when having to make a tough decision about his pitcher. Hey, yeah, I know you're pitching a good game and you want to stay in there, but we got to generate some more runs. So I'm going to have to lift it for a pinch hitter.
I think Mike Sosa tried to once make that case that it's tougher to manage in the American League than in the National League for that reason. But I think that's the exception to the rule. I think it's a lot more difficult for the most part.
Yeah, the strategy part of it, for sure. The part about just handling the guy and justifying taking him out of the game. Speaking of which,
here comes Dale.
Sending Wood back out there for the 8th, and you get the sense that it was all about just one hitter at a time. As long as he was getting outs, he would stay in the game. As soon as he allowed a base runner, he would make the move. But another outstanding performance for Travis Wood. He's 3 for 3 in that regard this year. 3 starts, 3 very good performances.
On to call to the pen, Sean Camp, when we come back. The pen, talked to Sean Camp before the game, and still bothered by his performance on Sunday. Said that was one of the worst ones of his major league career, and I think really more than the 10th inning when he balked in the winning run. He's maybe still second guessing himself about the slider to Hunter Pence. Pence tied the game with 2 outs.
And 1 strike away from finishing out the ball game and left a slider in the strike zone. And Pence hit the game-tying home run, and I think he just he realized that had he made his pitch, he probably would have gotten his guy.
He also said, "I want to get right back out there," and that's what any good reliever wants to do. Try to erase that memory as quickly as possible. Facing Elvis Andrus, runner at first, 1 out. We're in the 8th. Close over there. Kinsler just got back in.
He's got quick feet. He called for Bach in spring training. I think he caught his cleat here the other night, and he just didn't make a throw and was called for the Bach. Kinsler's been a very, very efficient base stealer over the years. Not as much last year in the past, but throughout his career, he's been really good.
Out of the glove of Castillo, but Kinsler didn't have a good view of it as that ball got behind the right-handed hitter.
Well, base runners, when they take their lead, they'll take a secondary lead and they'll anticipate a ball in the dirt but they don't anticipate a ball kicking off the catcher's glove and getting away. So once they see the ball is going to be, is high enough to be caught, they start to retreat to the base, sometimes costing themselves an opportunity to advance. Kinsler stole 21 bases last year, was caught 9 times.
Slider strike, and it's 1-1. Andrews earlier this month got an 8-year extension worth $120 million, signed through 2022 with a vesting option for the following year, but he may opt out after 2018 and 19.
The Rangers, like the Cubs, identifying, when you got a young player like Andrus, like Castro, and you can lock them up, and financially then what you have committed going forward to a cornerstone type player that's 23 years of age, 24 in Andrus's case.
Runner goes, ground ball right where Barney was, and Kinsler will keep on running. Perfectly executed hit and run. They're at the corners with 1 out.
And you can't do it any better than this. See Barney breaking to cover the bag as he sees Kinsler set sail, and Andrus pulls the hands in and just punches it through that vacated hole on the right side. And Kinsler's lucky that ball didn't hit him. Didn't miss by much.
Want to know on Beltre as Camp needs a ground ball here.
Cubs turned a big double play in the first with Beltre hitting.
Throws it away. Here comes Kinsler. Andrus to third.
Talk about the quick feet of Camp, and he was quick but not accurate with his pickoff throw. And always dangerous when you try to be that quick in a first and third situation. Got a heads up player like Kinsler at third base with speed, so even if you don't airmail it down the line, even if you just throw it in the dirt and it kicks away from the first baseman a little bit, you risk giving up a big run.
Everybody in on the infield for the 1-0. That was a slider that didn't slide much. 2 balls, no strikes. Big insurance run for the Rangers, and they're trying to get another one. It's Russell, James Russell, up in the home bullpen. High drive, well hit. Sapelt back, and it is gone. It's a home run for Adrian Beltre. 2-run shot to make it 4-0. It's his 5th career homer here in 20 games at Wrigley Field.
Again, it's a breaking ball from Camp, a slider that just does not have a whole lot going on. Belly button high out over the plate and just hanging there for Beltre. That's our forward home run replay.
So Camp's struggles continue.
I guess Beltre has officially made amends for that first inning double play. Doubled and scored in the 4th, and now this 2-run jack here in the 8th.
1-2. Breath by Camp. 2-2 on the way. Sapelt again back to the warning track, and this one's going to barely stay in. That looked like another hanger. And Camp got away with it. Oh, yeah.
Another third, but up. There's not a whole lot of movement, no real tilt on that ball. He's sliding across the strike zone.
That'll be it for Camp. And the Cubs' lone lefty reliever, James Russell, summoned. Another Honda call to the pen here in the 8th. Russell with 2 outs here in the 8th, 3 runs in for the Rangers. Facing A.J. Przinsky with nobody on.
Well, a great start to the season for Russell. He has not been plagued by the problems that so many other guys out there in the Cup bullpen have. He's been on top of his game.
Quiet night for Przinsky at the plate. 0 for 3. But he is catching a shutout. Przinsky made his 13th career opening day start, the most among active catchers, and tied for 11th most all time.
Pretty durable, hasn't he? Position that takes a lot of hits.
Including a punch to the side of the head from Michael Barrett a few years ago.
Kinds of hits.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. But the Rangers add 3 to their lead. It's 4-0 here in the 8th. Bostonians. As Tanner Sheppers will work the 8, facing Wellington Castillo. And that is a fair ball, bounced into right.
Start. Plant the seed before we can grow the tree. Sheppers a big, lanky, hard-throwing right-hander. Mid-90s fastball. Castillo a little late to the party, but turned out well for him. Tall order, though, to come back 4 this late in the ball game on a night like tonight. It's what has been a very good Ranger bullpen so far this year.
And they have a collective ERA of 2.06. Sheppers to Barney, slicing drive, right field, foul.
A little behind that good heater from Sheppers. Rangers making an adjustment, start to cheat the other way.
New Cub Cameron Lowe up in the home bullpen. That's high. Sheppers, product of Fresno State. Recruited there as a shortstop, but eventually moved to middle relief. In the air to left. Been a busy night for Jeff Baker. Are you following your favorite team on social media? The Cubs offers sweepstakes, giveaways, contests, player interaction, and insider content on Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, Instagram, Tumblr, and Google+. Follow the Cubs today to make sure you're seeing the latest updates on each platform. Now Gonzalez. Alberto turns 30 in 2 days. Ball 1.
Sheppers with a pretty good hook to go along with that explosive fastball.
Out.
That was crisp.
That had broken hamate bone written all over it. Gonzalez able to get out of the way. Outside corner, 2-1. Alberto with a home run on Sunday. Go ahead sac fly late in the game, and he hits a ground ball to Andrus. Little flip and the turn by Kinsler. 6-4-3 double play. That'll take us to the 9th. 4-zip Texas. time we go back to the first inning. Elvis Andrus trying to bunt his way on. Just beating Travis Wood in that foot race to the bag.
A heck of a play there by Wood and Rizzo as they combined to trying to make a play on Andrus. He's such a good bunter. He runs very well. And he had the big hit in the 8th. The hit and run base hit really set things up for the Rangers in the last inning. So here comes Cameron Lowe. First time with the Cubs. Well traveled. He's been around with a few different teams. Most recently with Seattle. You see 4 games before being let go. He was 1-1 with a high ERA there. He allowed 11 hits in 6 2/3. He's a sinker baller.
6'8", 240. And a lot of years with these Texas Rangers. And on Saturday, the Cubs hit the road for a division battle at Miller Park. Tune in as Anthony Rizzo will lead the Northsiders into battle against Cameron Lowe's former team, the Brewers. Cubs and Brewers Saturday, 5:30 for the pregame here on Comcast Sportsnet. Cameron Lowe's high school teammate was Ryan Braun in California. Jeff Baker with a go-ahead RBI double in the 4th. A single in the 7th. He's 2 for 3.
Well, with a lot of work with the Brewers the last couple of seasons. Last year he worked 70 times. In 2011 he made 72 appearances with Milwaukee. After a long run in Texas, went to Japan for a year as well.
Three and 0 the count. JD mentioned the Rockies beat the Mets 8-4 earlier. Mets leading 3-2 in game 2 in the 5th. 3 unassisted to get Baker. The Cardinals and Pirates played 2 innings before the game was postponed. Miami with an 8-2 win over the Washington Nationals. Just the 3rd win of the year for the Marlins. Yankees beat Arizona 4-2. Mariano Rivera got his 3rd save. The Braves are 12-1. They got their 10th straight win, 6-3 over the Royals.
Four-run bottom of the 8th for Atlanta. So those home run, that barrage of home runs came late for Atlanta in their 6-3 win over the Royals. Mentioned it earlier. Ugla, Upton, Hayward, Francisco with 2 all homering for the Braves tonight.
White Sox beat the Blue Jays 4-3. Diane Viciedo with the go-ahead RBI double in the 9th. Paul Konerko hit a game-tying homer and scored 3 runs. Our AT&T UVerse Multiview pitcher and catcher.
Hey, it looks like the baseball cards we used to get as kids.
Yeah.
You know, the future stars, and there'd be 3 guys on there.
Dave Chappelle hustling over the slide. Did he pick it? He did. Nicely done.
Belt leaving his feet, and at the last able to corral that one. Bid for an extra base hit for Moreland. Dies in the glove of Sapelt. Dave having a hard time getting things going with the bat, but he can still contribute with the leather.
Gentry takes a slider outside. I've had this story, I just haven't had time to mention it. Mentioned Mariano Rivera getting the save tonight. Going to retire at the end of the season. You see what he's doing in visiting ballparks when he goes there for the last time?
No.
They're not doing the, rocking chair at home plate and they wheel out a Harley or something at Fenway. He's meeting with team employees and loyal fans in his last trip in Cleveland, and that one bounced over. Gonzalez took a wicked hop, and Gentry will get the second standing. It's a double for Craig Gentry. So when the Yankees were in Cleveland, check out this bad bounce.
Usually when you see an infielder start to retreat, usually bad things happen. And that was an unfortunate hop. Bad hop double for Gentry. So he's going on this goodwill tour.
Yeah, he met with 25 Cleveland Indians employees, ushers, custodians. He met with John Adams. He's the guy who beats on the drum in the outfield. Going back to the Municipal Stadium days. This is Leonis Martin hitting in the pitcher spot. So he spent a half hour with them, answered questions, gave them autographed baseballs. That is really cool.
Wow, yeah, classy guy.
I love that.
Is he going to do that when he goes to Boston too for the last time?
Yeah, I think so. Kill him with kindness, right? Who dislikes Mariano Rivera? I mean, you want to beat him if you're on another team, but as likable as they get. Lowe can't get it. Barehanded play by Castro. It's late. Throw to the plate. Out at the plate. Ron Washington's going to argue. I think he's got a good argument here. It looked like Gentry got his hand in.
Yeah, I'm with you on first glance anyway. It looked like he was going to beat this play. It was a heck of a play by Castro. And then a good heads-up play by Rizzo to come home. But an evasive slide. Let's look one more time. Look, he got the back corner before the tag was applied.
CTA Red Line stops directly at Wrigley at the Addison Station. DeVry University offers remote parking and bus service for $6. Or try riding your bike and use the Cubs courtesy bike check, sponsored by World Bicycle Relief, located on Waveland near the corner of Clark Street. For details, go to Cubs.com or call the CTA hotline.
Let's take a look at this play at home plate one more time. Rizzo going for that, or excuse me, Gentry for that back corner of the plate. Castillo with the sweep tag. Dale Scott, he's been doing this for about 100 years.
And a new pitcher for the Rangers, non-save spot, Michael Kirkman.
Big long lefty.
Facing switch hitting Deanna Navarro. Trying to keep a streak going, right? Trying to hit a pinch hit home run for the third straight game. There was a start there in the middle.
That would have to be a record, wouldn't it?
I don't. That's
home
a
run
good
to 3
question.
consecutive pinch hit plate appearances. I don't know. It'd be interesting to find out.
Tied the game against the Giants on Friday and got the Cubs within 1 on Saturday.
What makes him so unique is that he did it consecutive days from both sides of the plate. It hadn't been done in about 20 years. Todd Benzinger of the Cincinnati Reds was the last guy to do that.
Going to happen here. Gold Glover Beltre throws him out.
Center fielder, Danny Soto.
Off the plate on Sapelt. More sad news today, and our Dallas Ties. Longtime voice of the NFL, Pat Summerall, passed away earlier today in Dallas at age 82. 16 Super Bowls. Former kicker. He was one of my all-time favorites.
And, Tom Brookshire partnered together for so long before John Madden came along. Is it the NFL replay? What was that show? NFL review and replay, the highlight show they would do on Sunday mornings.
Yeah. Minimalist style Summerall had. It was great. For the Chicago Cardinals.
From like watching the Bowery Boys, and then you go into Lindsey Nelson doing the Notre Dame replay, and then Pat Summerall. Some might argue that I watched too much television as a child.
That may be the case. You still probably watch too much, but nothing wrong with that. Are you technically watching television right now? Or are you making television? Well hit to right. Chew on that for a while. 2 outs.
Got me twisted up in knots.
So it's up to Starlin Castro here. Cubs have just 3 hits tonight. Rizzo's first inning single. Soriano with a double in the 4th. Castillo a base hit in the 8th. The only 3 base runners they've had, in fact. No walks.
Both the hits off of Holland came after 2 were out in the inning, so he was never under any pressure through very few pitches from the stretch.
Flared to right, and it is fair. Castro makes a turn. He's going to hold, and a nice salvage for him as he extends his hitting streak to 9 games. Well, we're going look back at this night, JD, when he's at 54 games and counting, closing in on DiMaggio. So remember that cold night in April when he flared that base hit in the 9th inning?
Mark it in your scorebook. Circle it.
Low for a ball on Rizzo.
Well, I said that Holland wasn't under any pressure, but he was in that. Travis Wood was just about as good. Wood was going along, shutting down the Rangers all night long too. So he was pitching in a game where one little mistake could be a difference maker.
Castro will take second without a throw. Will not be given a stolen base.
Coming into play tonight, the Cubs had won 4 ball games. Travis Wood was the starting pitcher in 2 of those 4. He did his job tonight, kept his team in there. 7 1/3, 5 hits, just 2 runs allowed for Wood.
Travis with a 1.83 earned run average after 3 starts. He's been great.
Joe Nathan is the Rangers closer. Looks like he's getting ready just in case. Yeah, that's him, number 42.
Justin Grimm and Carlos Villanueva tomorrow night. Second start for Grimm, third for the Cubs starter. And he's been great here early on. 2 tough no decisions for Villanueva to start the year. Not going to mess with the facial hair considering how well he's pitched.
No. Just leave that alone.
3-2 on the Cubs first baseman. The pitch, he walked him. Now Washington may in fact bring on his closer in what would be a safe situation because a tying run will be on deck.
Here's one way to curry favor with a guy. Bring him into a 4-0 game with 2 outs. Talk about safe situations, and not all safe situations are the same. Some easier than others. This should be fairly easy for Nathan.
Honda call to the pen in the 9th. We'll be back. Veteran closer Joe Nathan is on. The tying run is on deck. Nate Scherholtz has jumped into the on-deck circle, but it'll be Nathan against Alfonso Soriano with 2 on and 2 out.
Cubs still have life. See if they can get it done here against the veteran closer. Nathan started his career with the Giants and a long run with the Twins. This is his second season with the Rangers.
302 career saves for Nathan, 4 out of 4 this season. Out, a line shot right behind the Cub dugout. You see the runners, all this happening with 2 down. Castro the single, Rizzo the walk. Breaking ball strike. 0-2. Rangers with back-to-back shutouts in Houston in the first series of the season, looking for their third here in the first couple of weeks. Brzezinski kept it in front of him.
Cubs going through a tough stretch here to start the year, and it's always a challenge for the manager, the coaching staff, the veteran players, how to handle this with the younger guys. You don't want to panic. You don't want to create this sense of a dark cloud hovering over the club. At the same time, you want to create some sense of urgency that we need to get this thing turned around.
Ground ball in the hole. Andrus with a backhand. He has nowhere to throw it, and the Cubs will put the tying run at the plate after that infield hit.
They will bring to the plate a guy who's probably been their best hitter so far here in the early going. Beltre a little late to react on this play. He's just pointing over to first base for Andrus, and Andrus had determined that he had no shot to make a play anywhere but third. Beltre taking a step towards that ground ball, but never really scrambled back to the bag. And you saw at the end there, he's pointing to himself, telling Andrus, my bad.
By the way, Joe Nathan has the best save percentage in Major League history. 89.49% going into this year, and perfect so far. But he will face the tying run at the dish, and Nate Scherholtz looks at a strike.
Nathan throws both a slider and a curveball to go along with his fastball. It's a backdoor breaking ball that was off the plate. He got the benefit of the doubt. Not as bad as the call he got the other day to finish a ball game. It was about 2 feet outside.
That's right. That was against the Rays. Dropped a wow on A.J. Brzezinski as they got together to shake hands after the final out. That was his 300th career save. Bases loaded, 2 outs, and an 0-2 to Scherholtz. Now 1-2. Nathan began his big league career as a starter with the Giants and was not particularly good. But once he became a full-time reliever, 10 years ago. He's been one of the best in baseball. Coming in is Baker, and he can't make the catch off his glove. And now the tying run is at second base. It's 4-2. And now the Cubs a base hit away from tying this one up.
The irony is that the Rangers are playing no doubles. You see how deep Baker is. He has to come a long way, cannot glove it. And the Cubs still have life.
So Scherholtz will be credited with a pinch hit 2-run double. And it's Wellington Castillo. Cubs have saved their best for last. Well, in the last two hitters, JD, Soriano and Scherholtz started their at-bats 0-2.
Yeah, Nathan just didn't have that put-away pitch right now. I mean, his velocity on his fastball, 90-91.
1-0 pitch.
Didn't have to be.
Slider called, strike one.
Oh, man. Now, whether that's in the zone or not, that's not a pitch you want to swing at.
It's Derek Holland looking on nervously here.
That, however,
1-2
is one that Wellington would like to have back. Another crack at this one. Just a little get over slider, top of the zone.
All this happening with 2 down. Single, walk, single, double. A 1-2. He hit him to load the bases.
And if he's got a chance to be a hero. Here comes Mike Maddox, pitching coach, out to have a chat with Joe Nathan. Ooh, that hurts. But anyway, whatever it takes to get on base, keep the line moving.
Darwin Barney in his season debut will bat with the bases loaded and 2 outs here in the ninth. No backup for Nathan tonight. Bullpen mound is unoccupied.
Joe Nathan came trotting out of that bullpen. I said, this should be an easy save. 4-run lead. He has to get just 1 out. It's been anything but. The Cub hitters really battling here. 2 outs, 2 strikes. Get the sense watching Nathan pitch, at least tonight, that he doesn't want to throw very many fastballs in the strike zone. Fastball's been primarily a show-me pitch. More willing to throw his breaking ball in the zone.
So here we go. Barney with the bases loaded. Strike one. Really, 2 strike counts have not been a problem in this inning for the Cubs against Nathan. And remember what we told you before, they had 3 hits and 3 base runners total in the first 8 innings. 5 in a row have reached with 2 outs. The 0-1 low.
Maybe a little cross up there. Krasinski boxing that pitch and out to have a chat with Nathan. Got mixed up on the signals. Whoop.
AJ thought fastball, and he got a slider.
That's usually a pitch a catcher can at least knock down. It's when they're looking soft, looking for a breaking ball, and they get the heater that causes big problems. Line drive over Kinsler's head would work just fine.
the plate, 2-1. Luis Valbuena is on deck. He would hit for Gonzalez. Two and two.
Again, it's the borderline low breaking ball, and according to Pitch Tracks, is at the knees and on the corner.
Soriano at third, Sherholtz a tying run at second, Castillo the winning run at first.
Right where they want to be. 2 strikes and 2 outs. That's an emergency hack there.
Big time. Just pulled that one out of AJ's glove with the bat. The Rangers have a lefty cranking it up in their bullpen. As Nathan continues to struggle here in the ninth. The 2-2. Pulled foul.
He's not able to throw that fastball by anybody. 90 miles an hour, and Barney spins on it.
If you just joined us, where have you been? Cubs were down 4-0. 2 outs, nobody on in the bottom of the ninth, and they have rallied back. 2 runs in, 3 on, and a 2-2 count on Darwin Barney.
I don't know if a hitter feels comfortable sitting on a pitch in this situation, but I got to believe he's going to come slider here. He did. He put it in a good spot.
Lefty in the bullpen for the Rangers is 5'7" southpaw Joe Ortiz. Another look at the runners. Two singles, a double, a walk, and a hit by pitch. Another 2-2 into center. Caught out there by Gentry to win it as the Rangers stave off the Cubs by their fingernails. If that ball gets down, it's a tie ball game. But Joe Nathan gets the save on a great diving catch by Craig Gentry.
He can play some center field, and if it gets down, the Cubs might win the ball game right there, because this is probably going to kick away from him, and Castillo would have possibly come all the way around to score. You see the frustration from Barney. He had a heck of an at bat, as did just about everybody who came up to bat for the Cubs in that 9th inning. They come up a little bit short, but my goodness, what a rally, what a run.
Well, it's time for our GMC Professional Grade Player of the Game, Derek Holland. And we'll give an honorable mention to Travis Wood, the starters tonight, JD. We're both really, really good.
Yeah, they sure were. Holland, 7 innings of shutout baseball tonight, allowed just a couple of hits, did not walk anybody, struck out 6. And Wood, for the 3rd straight time, coming up with an outstanding start for the Cubs.
So for JD and our entire CSN crew, Len Casper saying so long from Wrigley Field. The final score, the Rangers 4, the Cubs 2. We're back with you Saturday here on CSN. Cubs and Brewers game 2 of a weekend set. Coming up next, the Blue Cross Blue Shield Cubs post-game live.